Hey, welcome back to another episode of Simple Truth Television. Today is September 17th, 2020. Now, we are 13 days before the NBA Finals. And, on Patreon, we're doing, we're taking it one day at a time with the picks. I already put out multiple videos showing who I have going to the NBA Finals and who I have playing the Lakers this year. Obviously, it's going to be the Boston Celtics. I still believe it's the Celtics, even though they're down 0-1 to the Miami Heat. And I have videos showing why I believe the Finals is going to go 7 games. Now, a lot of you keep asking me what I think about the Miami series. Again, I'm taking the series one day at a time on Patreon. It's not that easy. I can't really say that it's gonna go 6 games or 7 games or 5 games. The Miami series is very tricky, but I'm gonna show you guys a couple of things that I've noticed. While I still believe it's gonna be things that I've noticed that are still leading me to believe that it's still gonna be the Celtics and Lakers. The more things I find, the better the riddle seems to be. And the more confident I feel about the Celtics playing the Lakers this year. So let me just show you guys the things that I've noticed. So today, somebody sent me this. Somebody said that this is viral on Twitter. That in 2009, Kobe Bryant, he played the Houston Rockets in the playoffs, and he also played the Denver Nuggets. And think about how this year, LeBron James faced the Rockets, and now he's going to face the Denver Nuggets. And in 2009, if you guys remember, that's when Kobe Bryant won his 4th championship in Orlando. And think about how this year, LeBron James can win his 4th championship in Orlando. Which just goes to show you how scripted this stuff is, what are the odds that Kobe's 4th championship, he played against the same teams as LeBron James is playing this season? The Rockets and then the Denver Nuggets. Just like Kobe did. They played the Rockets and they played the Denver Nuggets, and then he won the championship over the Orlando Magic in Orlando in 5 games. This is more proof that this stuff has been rigged way in advance. Think about it. 2009, and here we are in 2020, 11 years later, and they're doing the same thing all over again. Now, a lot of you know that the Clippers just got eliminated by the Denver Nuggets. And on Patreon, the people that follow me made a lot of money because it was such an easy riddle to see. If you seen the last video that I did, I show you guys how the Toronto Raptors were playing the Boston Celtics. And that following Sunday, in football, we had the Miami Dolphins playing the New England Patriots. So we had the Miami football team versus the Boston football team. Just a couple of days after the Toronto Raptors and Boston Celtics series, right? And then in baseball, the same day as Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, we had the Boston Red Sox versus the Miami Marlins. The Boston baseball team versus the Miami baseball team, right? And then in the NBA, we have the Boston Celtics versus the Miami Heat. So all 3 of these leagues have Boston versus Miami within days of each other, right? This is not the first time they do it. They always do it this way. The reason we knew that the Denver Nuggets were going to eliminate the Clippers, even though the Clippers were 8-point favorites, is because they did the same thing in baseball that they did with the Boston Celtics series. Let's see, where did I put this at? The day, I believe it was, let me just see, because I believe it was the day after, the Dodgers were playing the Colorado Rockies. Right after, well, actually, it'll be tomorrow. Well, the series is going to start today on the 17th, but tomorrow is Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, and the Colorado Rockies are going to play the Los Angeles Dodgers the same day as the Denver Nuggets and Lakers game. Let's see if I can find it. I guess we can just look up the Dodgers schedule. Stuff is really like in our face all this time. But you guys notice how today the Dodgers are playing the Colorado Rockies? We saw this way in advance. Because once I noticed that they did it with the Boston Red Sox, I said, let me take a look at who the Dodgers are going to play these following days. All right. So the day that the Nuggets eliminated the Clippers, the Dodgers were playing the Padres. And tomorrow on the 18th, that's when the Lakers series versus the Nuggets starts. And the Colorado team is going to be playing the LA team. And Denver's from Colorado. And there's a lot more to that riddle. I mean, think about how Kobe Bryant, his rape case took place in Colorado. The woman who accused him of rape. It was this all this happened in Colorado while he was trying to play the Denver Nuggets. So it's all scripted, right? All these leagues connected, right? Baseball, basketball, and football. They've done this all the time. You know, I talk about the World Series last season when the Nationals were playing the Houston Astros, and that same day in basketball, the Wizards were playing the Houston Rockets, right? The Washington basketball team versus the Houston basketball team. The same day as Game 7 when the Houston baseball team was playing the Washington baseball team. And there's a lot more to that. If you guys visit my blog, I can show you guys all the things that I've noticed. I guess I can just pull it up now, being that we're talking about it. But that game was so scripted. The same day, all these leagues connected. And so those of you who are trying to learn how to decode sports, you know, just look at these other leagues and look at the schedules. A lot of these leagues, they line up their games according to the championship game. So if you guys wanted to know who's gonna play in the World Series, you could have just looked at the NBA schedule and see that during Game 7, the Rockets were gonna be playing the Wizards, and that would have gave you a clue to know that the Nationals were gonna be playing the Astros in the World Series. What am I looking for? Type in Mike D'Antoni. Okay, so it was this game here. The Houston Rockets were playing the Washington Wizards. This was the same day as Game 7 of the World Series. And notice the score was 159 to 158, a total of 317 points, a 66 prime number. And this game came 66 days after James Harden's birthday, right? And they scored 317 combined points. And, of course, James Harden had 59 points. Houston Rockets is 59. And the other star player, Bradley Beal, had 46 points, which combines for 105 points, right? Bradley, 46 plus 50 is 105. And that same day, the Nationals won the World Series and picked up their 105th win of the season by defeating the Astros. And Nationals is 105. So this is why when I put out that video, my World Series prediction, I told everybody that the Nationals were going to win the World Series because of this. I noticed that the Nationals could have won 105 games during the season. And once I saw that National equals 105, I just knew that the Nationals was going to be the championship. Was going to be the champions that year. And there was a lot more to this. That same day, then Mike D'Antoni picked up his 631st career victory, which is the 115th prime number. And that same day, the Nationals were playing the Astros in the 115th World Series. Right? The last game of the 115th World Series. And of course, his name, Mike D'Antoni, sums to 115. So all these leagues connected, right? So that same day, Houston, Washington, baseball, Houston, Washington, they did the same thing this year with the basketball. Boston and Miami, Colorado, and LA. Stuff is very repetitive. Very, very repetitive. Oh, actually, here it is. I was looking for it. But here it is. On the 18th, the Rockies are playing the LA Dodgers. Colorado versus LA. And also somebody pointed this out, how, you know, I've shown how this season is all connected to the 2010 Boston Celtics, because that was the team that Kobe Bryant won his 5th championship against, right? Kevin Garnett, who starred in the movie Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. That movie is definitely connected to these finals as well. Ray Allen is also connected. If you guys think about how Ray Allen went from Boston to Miami, and now Boston is playing Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals. And of course, Paul Pierce is also connected to these finals because his birthday is on October 13th, which is the same day as Game 7. Game 7 of the NBA Finals is scheduled for October 13th when he turns 43 years old, right? And notice the head coach of this team was Doc Rivers, and his birthday is also on October 13th. And somebody pointed this out, how if you add up all of their numbers, it sums to 59. And Game 7 of the NBA Finals, Doc Rivers is turning 59 years old. And of course, Slave is 59. Notice Pierce is turning 43 that day. 43 is the 14 prime. Slave is 59 and 14. And 59 is an interesting number because in 1959, the Boston Celtics played the Los Angeles Lakers in the finals. Just like how in 1984, the Boston Celtics played the Lakers in the finals. And in 1984, LeBron James was born. That was the year that David Stern became the commissioner. Jack Welch died this year at the age of 84. 213 days before the start of the NBA Finals. And the NBA Finals is 213. And of course, being that Doc Rivers is turning 59, 59 is a 17 prime, NBA is 17. If the Lakers do play the Celtics, they're gonna tie the Celtics with 17 championships. And something else I was looking at, this is the all-time record versus Boston, with Boston versus the Lakers. Notice they played, if you add up the amount of games that they played each other, they've played each other 317 times. And we can actually do this. So the Celtics have 204 wins and they have 162 losses, right? Which means they played each other 366 times, But if they go to the finals this year and play each other 7 times, then they would have played each other 373 times, right? And that number is important because 373 is the 74th prime number. And of course, this season is the 74th NBA season. All right? Very important number this year. Kobe Bryant died in the 74th NBA season. John Thompson, who played for the Celtics, he won 2 championships with the Celtics against the Lakers, and he played exactly 74 games during his career. So this is why I really feel like if the Celtics go to the finals, they're going to take the Lakers to 7 games. Because that will equal 373 games total, the 74th prime. And also, LeBron James is going to pick up, because I do expect the Lakers to win the championship. LeBron James will then pick up their 35th playoff victory versus the Celtics. King James is 35. And the Celtics will pick up their 46. Celtics is 46. And then LeBron James will become 4-6 in the NBA Finals. I mean, this stuff is making too much sense for it not to play out this way. But let's see what happens. Because, these scripts, sometimes something looks very good and then they switch it somehow. I don't know. But, yeah, so as for the Miami series, I have a possible scenario. This is not something that I'm 100% sure that is going to happen, but this is possible. If the Celtics and Heat go 7 games, then it will end on September 27th. I was looking at all the scenarios that say if it goes 6, I tried out 5, it won't go 4 because the Celtics are down in the series, and I do expect the Celtics to win. So you can either go 5, 6, or 7. Now, if it goes 7, I think 7 makes the most sense because that will be September 27th, which is the 271st day of the year. And 271 is the 58th prime number. Los Angeles Lakers is 58. Kobe Bryant is 58. And notice there's 95 days left in the year. Los Angeles Lakers is 95. So 271, the 58th prime, 95 days left in the year. The Los Angeles Lakers gematria. And speaking of Kevin Garnett, again, Kobe won his 5th championship versus the Celtics when Kevin Garnett was there. He picked up his 126th playoff victory to win his 5th championship versus Garnett and the Celtics. And he was born May 19th, 1976. Game 7 will be 131 days after his birthday. And championship is 131. And it's also 224 days from Kemba Walker's birthday and 157 days from Jason Tatum's birthday. Kobe Bryant is 224 and also 157. So I don't know. It could go 7, but let's see. I'm taking it, again, on Patreon, I'm taking these games one day at a time. I'm looking at the things that they put in front of us, and I'm just taking it one day at a time. But it could go 7, and I think September 27th is the perfect day for this series to end. But who knows? But let's see, anything else I have? So that's all I have for this video. 58 viewers, huh? Thank you everyone for joining us. Not sure if you guys have any questions. Yeah, Sosa says that Vegas is gonna make a lot of money off the Miami bandwagon. Yeah, that's why they make the Miami Heat win the first game. They barely won that game. I mean, if you look at it from a basketball standpoint, they barely won that game. Somebody asked if I'm dropping the decode for Thursday Night Football. Of course. I'm actually once this video is over, I'm gonna get right to work with the football for Thursday and for Sunday. The Dear Diary says that she just emailed me. No problem. I'll definitely check my email. So A Boogie wants to know how many games in the Nuggets and Lakers series. Again, I'm taking it one day at a time. If you want to know the sports stuff, just go to Patreon. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.